G'day guys, Ron here from Osborne Digital Marketing. Today we're going to discuss schema markup and why it's important for your business. Let's jump straight into it. All right, so what is schema? Schema is essentially code that goes on your website to explain to a search engine, not just Google, what that web page is about. So that can be saying like this web page is actually, let's say you have a web page about cooking products, so you're selling a food processor. You can have schema that specifically states to the search engine, this is what this web page is about. Now, if you can contrast that to how you would traditionally just have a web page and the search engine is meant to pull that data down from the web page, it's quite difficult for a search engine to do that because remember, search engines don't read. They utilize complex algorithms, and that's where it can be quite challenging. So if you hand feed the search engines, you're going to get one up on your competitors. And that's what we're going to discuss today. So right now I'm on the schema.org. So this is where you can find a plethora of information about schema. It's the schema site. So this is where you go for anything. Let's just say you're a plumber. You can go type in plumber, and there's schema for plumbing organizations. There's schema for sparkies, dentists, medical practitioners, whatever. It's most likely here. If it isn't here, there's going to be a way around it. Now, the beauty and the wonderful thing about schema is, whilst a lot of people in my world seem to think that schema is not really a ranking factor, I can confirm from our agency's experience, it is a ranking factor. If we have a client that doesn't have schema implemented on their site, and neither does their competitors, and they're sitting much of a muchness, we find that as soon as we implement a bit of schema, they get a boost. So that's one way you can get up. And especially if your competitors have schema on their website and you don't, they've got a leg up over you. So it's very important to consider that when how schema can play into your ranking. So what we're going to discuss today is the three main types of schema you can utilize for your business, okay? Those three are going to be your organization or local business schema. So that's going to be explaining to the search engine, hey, I'm a local business like Osborne Digital Marketing in this case. I will be saying to Google, hey, I'm Osborne Digital Marketing. This is my website. This is my business. This is what it's about. Then that's the same with local. If you've got a local shop front, as an example, like a restaurant. Then when it comes to product or review schema, back to the example before when we were talking about the food processor, you can utilize that. So if we jump across, what I will do is I'll give you an example of how schema can actually look. So if I was to type in business coach Adelaide, this is my another branch of my business, so Business Coach Adelaide. Sorry guys, so this individual right here, this is schema, okay? They're utilizing schema to, Google keeps jumping around on me. So they're utilizing schema to display ratings. So that's like the product and review schema. Only use product and review schema when it comes to reviewing a product or you're actually implementing a review of something, not when it's so much a service. You can get in trouble. So this individual could possibly get in trouble and be violating the webmaster guidelines. That's something that you don't want to find. You don't want to get in trouble for that. That's going to hurt you. This is not my page, this is someone else, but as you can see, it just pops up, and I know that this was here because I was looking at this yesterday. So that's schema. As you can see, this example above doesn't have it. So it should be small. So here's my website right here. So here's my website. Okay, so as you will see underneath, I don't have the schema that is displayed like this individual here. Now, it is eye grabbing, it is attention grabbing, you see that. Never ever put product or review schema on your home page. You can land yourself in some hot water there, okay? It's very important that you don't do that, because you will get penalized by Google and you will receive a penalty. So never ever place product review schema on, or product schema on your home page. That's just a little bit of a caveat. Okay, and the final one we're going to discuss is article schema. So article schema is going to be back on where you release a blog, you're creating that type of content. It's helpful to utilize the schema for a blog. One, because there's 1 million blog posts created across the world every single day. So it's very, very important that you stand out. A lot of those blog posts are not going to have schema on them. So that's one way you can start getting your leg up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to basically jump straight into it, and I'm going to show you very, very simply how you can create and install schema. Now we're going to utilize the article schema, but it's a much of a muchness. This is a free tool. I strongly recommend this. We utilize this. We don't utilize this so much, but perhaps when it's article schema, we will. We have more so custom codes that we utilize and we change out, because you can fit more information in there, which helps you rank higher, of course. But this is something that will be brilliant for yourself, the average business owner that just has 5 minutes to spare to stick this in. So what you want to do is, when you come over to the tool, you have a plethora of things you can do here. So you've got your local business. So what you would do is follow the bouncing ball. Just essentially put in your phone number, your street, city, the zip code, country, latitude, longitude, if you would like to do. You can add social profiles, so you can add your Facebook, Twitters, all of them. So it's very, very straightforward. This is a brilliant tool, and then you'll get this. Again, it's free. It's completely free. There's no payments at all, and all you'll need to do is copy the code over here once you've completed that. Very, very simple. So like I said, we're going to focus on article. Now, I tend to just leave it as article. You can have it as a blog post, but article is sufficient. So what we do now is we're going to be working on this article for Osborne Digital Marketing. So how to measure and manage corporate reputation. Okay. So what you want to do is just follow the bouncing ball. So you got article URL. So we need to paste the URL in there. The headline of the article, and you want it to be very, very similar. You do not want it to be different. So if I've got how to measure and manage your corporate reputation on my blog here, I don't want to then put in my schema how to evaluate management of your corporation, as an example. It should be identical. So we stick the headline in there. Now the image, so we want to add one image, which will be the featured image. Now the way you get your feature image is very, very straightforward. If this wants to play ball with me, which it doesn't appear to be. Okay, let's put in a description first. So okay, brilliant. Okay, so you can write a brief description. I have no idea why this is not allowing me to insert an image. So you're normally able to add an image here, but for some reason this is not allowing me to add an image. It is incredibly strange. So yeah, like I said, we don't really utilize this tool. We utilize our own JSON LD code, but again, maybe this code is just having a bit of a bug. As you saw, Google's jumping around for me. Maybe it's something on my end today that's just not working. So what we do now is, as you can see, as I'm writing, you can see the code snipping up. When it comes to the description, you basically just want to write a couple of sentences about what the organisation is, like what the article's about, sorry. Now, author type, person or an organisation. Well, Osborne Digital Marketing wrote this, so you can just say, like, sorry if my typing is atrocious, guys. I have the microphone right in front of me and it sucks to try and write. So what I can do is simply just open up the ODM page and I just put the link to that. So author URL, okay, publisher can be again Osborne Digital Marketing, and then publisher logo URL. So this is where you want to utilize your logo. So again, if you're putting this up, you don't want to use someone else's logo. Quick little trick to get your logo is you can simply right click, inspect, and to quickly find it, you can, I have no idea why Google's been so slow for me today. All right, click on it. So what I've done is essentially you can click on the little button up here. So you're on inspect. You can look at the back end code of the site. You can hover over it and it's going to show you, as you can see, that just above my head right here, that's all highlighted. Okay, so that's showing me where the code is. Here's the link to my logo. So I can literally scroll down to copy link address, come back over to the schema markup tool, and date published. So when I publish this article, depending upon when that was, which was the 21st of April. So we can scroll back and go 21st of April. Date modified was today, 6th of June. All right, and that's pretty much it, guys. There should be an image here. That's freaking me out a little bit that we don't have an image, because it should be allowing me to add in an image. It's very, very strange that that's not happening. Hopefully, because you add the image for your blog post. So what would happen in the circumstance, same as like we did with the URL, like this is my featured image. Just again, inspect, and then you can find the code, and you can literally highlight the image, and there's a link to the image. Okay, so you just copy that and simply add that in to the image address. But let's try this anyway, because I don't want to waste your time anymore, and it's very straightforward. I've covered that. So simply copy. Now what we're going to do is we're going to install this in you have two options. First one, I don't recommend it, but it can be done. You can install it into the content here. So you need to be in the code editor of the blog, and you want to put it up the top of the blog or down the bottom of the blog. I don't recommend this because you'll find dramas, like problems will arise. It's happened numerous times, and we find that this just causes issues. You can literally have it be picked up as a paragraph, which in HTML it's not a paragraph. We don't want it seen as a paragraph. It's literally a different style of code. So we don't want it seen being told to the search engines that it's a HTML code. So what I suggest is you come back onto your home page. Let's do that from this page. So we go into the back end of our WordPress site. Now you scroll down to your header footer code manager. Now I've got a video on, if you don't have this installed on your WordPress site, you can literally go down into the link. I'll make sure that I've got it linking up above as well, to the left, to the right, wherever it is. And you can follow the bouncing ball. It's like a 2-minute video of how to install this plugin. Very, very straightforward. All you need to do is add new snippet. We can call this the schema for the how to manage. Honestly, stick that there. Java. We do not want it to be site wide. We want it on specific posts. So it is how to measure and manage your corporate reputation. That's it. This is the only post that we want this displayed on. Okay, so again, this is the schema. This is how it looks, guys. Like my buff head's right in the way, so you can't see it. Let me jump out of the way. This is it. This is how it looks. And from there, we just want to jump back into here, save this. So now this should be linked with this page. And the reason you want it in the header and not the footer is for the purpose that what's going to happen is search engine comes and looks at the top, works its way down. If you put your schema down at the bottom and your contents is confusing as anything, let's say you're talking about a complex subject, what will happen is Google might just bounce. So they'll be out of there before they even get to your schema. It's better if they get to your schema first. It's like a clarifying message. That'll help them understand what they're looking at. All right, so let me just clear the cache. Okay. So now this should be updated. So what we can do is we can get out of there. You can go on to the so we get this link and we stick it in the validator. It's very important to stick this in the validator. You can validate your schema before marking it up, which can be done by copying it, inserting it into the validator. And I will show you how to do that. As you can see, it says code snippet here, so you can literally paste in the code that we pasted into the header, or you stick in a URL where the code is and you can run the test. Now, if everything's successful, which I hope it will be because we didn't have the image, there may be an error. There it is. Yeah, there's an error. So there's going to be an error, and the error is going to be because we do not have an image for a blog post. Like I said, I don't know why. I have no idea why that's not allowing me to implement an image. So every time I click add image, it should be creating new images and dropping down. So I do apologize for that, guys, but it's very straightforward. Yeah, what we will do is we can come back in and we can go new test. We can try the code, and the code most likely will fail. Yes. Yeah. So as you can see here, see this little red X. Okay, this is a brilliant learning thing because with schema, it has to be 100% right. You cannot get it 99.99% right. It has to be 100% right, otherwise it won't work. So as you can see here, when it comes to the image, it's not working. So it's missing, it's telling us with this red X saying, hey, you're missing the image. So what we can try and do, that's, let me just try and change it down, guys. Maybe it'll, no, it's not working. Like 100% of the time, this tool, I've never had an issue with this tool. It's always when you take the time. There we go, there it is, image URL. So that's ultimately, let's do it like really quickly, guys. I want to show you how to do this and absolutely nail it. So let's do it. Let's do it. There, headline. So this is what we do, okay? We'll be able to grab all the code from here. So we can literally just copy everything that I had already entered. It's going to save me a ton of time because I want to show you guys how it actually looks and how it should look. And it's good to understand what it's like when you face issues, because I'm telling you here now, if you do SEO, majority of your time spent fixing problems. So a lot of the time you will have issues. So come back onto the article, which it's here. So remember, inspect, right click, inspect. We jump over, we can hover it over with that little blue button. Boom, there it is. Copy link address, stick that in the image, bang, as you can see it's populating here. Organization, Osborne digital marketing, bang, bang. Also URL, so ODM. We just want that. And the logo. So here's the logo, SVG. It's not normally that difficult, as you can see, guys. It's Schema becomes quite challenging when you include more additions. So with Schema, it's something that's very powerful, and you can include things such as like you can explain to the search engine what exactly it's looking at. All right, so as you can see here, I'm going to copy the text again. So let's go to the validator before we stick the code in. Let's see, this should pass now. Bang, it's worked. So you know it works when it fires out this information. Okay, beautiful. All right, so what we need to do is we need to go back to the back end. Let's get rid of this schema. Let's delete this. Paste that one in, update. Always, like I said, you can always check your code beforehand, but I strongly recommend, as long as you do it right most of the times, if you're new to Schema, check it whilst you're building it. That'll help you inevitably do something dramatic. I was able to call out the image quite early on because I knew that it would impact it. But when it comes to the final stages, make sure that you are checking the URL, because if you don't check your URL, if you don't check this URL and you're not giving that the final pass over, what can happen is you can do all that work, think you've uploaded Schema, and then it just fails, and you don't want that. Okay, so should be all green lights from here. Beautiful, there we go. So breadcrumbs, article, and site navigation element. So here's the article schema that we've created. And that's pretty much it, guys. It's the exact same process for creating anything else. Like I said, if you're doing FAQs, so you've got FAQs on your page. When it comes to a couple of things with Schema, you just want to make sure, again, that you're testing it. So this is the Schema validator. It's literally here on the schema.org. Everything's linked down below, guys. You're not shortchanged. I make sure that I link everything below. This stuff's completely free. Everything I've shown you today is free. When it comes, I get asked this a lot, when it comes to plug-in Schema, it's good if you pay for it. So if you're paying for the subscription of Rank Math, which is $97 a year, I think it is, yeah, it's all right then. Is it better than all of this? Absolutely. If your competitor's utilizing Schema, it's going to be better than this. You doing this won't be enough to get in front of them. You do need the better things. If you want to take it to the next level, I would start with this. I would then move up to a paid product, and then you'd need to start moving up to utilizing my organization or something like that to take your Schema to the next level. But that's pretty much how it's all done. That's how you can check your Schema. You can review your Schema. It's very easy to implement. You need to make sure, if you're a local business and organization, if you're national, if you're across the states, you're in Australia, wherever you are, you should have Schema that displays where you are, what your operations are, how people can contact you in said locations where you operate. It's very, very powerful, very, very beneficial. You need Schema on your site. If you'd like to hear more about Schema and you want me to help your business add Schema to your website, reach out, guys. I'd love to help. If I've answered the question, what is Schema and how to add it to your website and easy to follow steps, make sure you hit that like button. I really appreciate that. I'm happy to keep helping everyone out as long as they look after me in return. I love that kind of relationship. Works really well. Hope you have a lovely day, guys. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. Cheers.